Chapter 7.
At the beginning, Father was remarkably clumsy with punishments. Being stuck at Malfoy Manor, unable to partake in Quidditch or visit his elite friends, all seemed like convenient reasons to avoid things he wasn't keen on doing anyway, partly due to fear of altering the past and his sheer lack of enthusiasm. But credit where it's due, when Father got better, he did so in a grand fashion. Draco, without any acts of defiance, found himself arriving late and unattended at platform 9 3/4. However, Mother had subtly gone against Father's wishes, tucking 2 vials of pain-dulling draught into his pocket before he left. Draco gulped 1 vial down without ceremony once he passed the barrier, allowing him to momentarily reflect, as the sting lessened, that without prior knowledge of this Muggle pandemonium, a first-year Draco would certainly have missed the train. But Draco was there, with no one watching as he disposed of the tiny empty vial, rushing towards the train with heavy trunks in tow. He remembered last time having Vince and Greg to help. Instinctively, he flicked his wand twice, casting the featherweight charm to ease them onto the train just as it left the platform. This time, no magical transportation service would move his trunks, but he could handle it once. It wouldn't kill him to carry some luggage like a house elf. After all, if Dobby had managed such chores for years without giving in, he could do it too. He lingered in the train corridor, where the blend of hissing steam, owl calls, and children's laughter was almost nauseating, and even Mother's potion seemed to struggle to keep his unease at bay. He moved down the corridor, on the hunt for that mythical creature, a perfectly empty compartment. Draco had barely begun to shuffle painfully down memory lane before he glimpsed through a compartment window Vince and Greg devouring a heap of chocolate frogs. Draco stumbled, barely catching himself as his knees buckled, his side knocking unpleasantly against one of his luggage pieces. His fall could be blamed on the moving train, but he knew it was Vince's familiar, chocolate-smeared face that sent him reeling, alive and chirpy, ages before everything went grim. Panic surged through Draco, more piercingly than Bellatrix's name from Ollivander's lips or the numbed sting his father's cane left on his back, a spark that fanned the flames of his thoughts into a roaring fiendfire. Fiendfire was what he planned to leave Vince to should he fulfill any misguided noble intentions to return to his timeline unchanged. It chased him in his mind as he fled from seeing young Vince munch carefreely on chocolates. Forgetting his trunks, he growled, "Accio trunk," watching his wand whip them back to him, smacking against his shins. But the fiendfire loomed larger in his mind, dwarfed any physical pain like a leg ache compared to the burn. His legs struggled more after he sprinted to the end of the train, the exertion foreign to someone locked away for weeks. The only freedom had been clandestine broom rides under cover of night, courtesy of Mother. She neither apologized for Father's mistreatment nor altered her silent complicity, but attempted in her quiet way to ease his predicament, until everything spiraled out of control, including the serpent that, even broken into pieces, had still been luckier than Draco. He dragged his trunks into the car's end compartment, banging the door shut again with his wand after it stubbornly swung open. He slumped into a seat, gasping as if he'd just escaped death, feeling as though barring the compartment door had kept fiendfire at bay. Relieved to be alone, he keenly avoided any presence, real or imagined, sharing the space. As the threat faded, his mind looped back to his racing folly. There had been no actual fiendfire. He retrieved one of his voluminous notebooks, turning to his succinct account of encountering the room of requirement with Potter, of the friend's rescue that hadn't saved everyone. These memories, unlike others he'd penned, were narrowly detailed despite page upon page already filled during the month tethered to home, where he memorized the spells his father bestowed, most already familiar. The notebooks had been his only triumph in a bleak month, coupled with concocting ink visible only to the writer. It required dual potions and complex spells to reveal, and was made lightweight through strong enchanters. It was a secretive, daunting task sourcing ingredients for its dark recipe without further reprisals. and acquiring information on time travel or unreal reflections from the Manor's library proved just as fruitless. Maybe his time would have been better spent brewing calming drafts. He was determined to return to his proper time, depending on Severus for help, with their reunion near. Yet, should he remain here longer, memories would naturally fade without charms to hurry the process. Documenting the unaltered timeline's events was wise, not to change them, but as insurance against inconsistencies. Yet gazing at Vince's demise inscribed on unpainted pages failed to fathom any clearer thoughts. He contemplated repeating life's tragedies, either reliving them if trapped here or consigning to inaction, letting them unfold unchanged, an actor unwilling in history's restaging, unlike his younger self enthusing Vince with future Quidditch victories, or Language's tales of Harry Potter's presence befuddling Slytherins. Sleep claimed him, though fitful dreams lingered. His mind merged and disconnected scenes, Potter looming with a wand in Myrtle's bathroom, his own spellcasting a reflex to save Mother from a seemingly venomous snake in the garden. Father declared that lethal step unnecessary, schooling him about the snake's harmless nature afterward, the only similarity Nagini's markings incited, causing Draco to act without thought. And in his unconscious mind, he saw Potter's desperation over his bleeding body morph into Father, disposing of a snake's corpse as if it were redundant, leaving Draco safe from himself within the dreamscape. The train's halt hatched awareness, prodding Draco's resolve to seek Severus. Despite knowing the staying passenger's fate, Draco knew he needed to leave. Even if it meant reunions at the boats with young Vince, he stowed his luggage, merging with first years following Hagrid's lantern path to Hogwarts' foreboding silhouette, mirrored and scathed in the waters. He dreaded reliving his past's horrors, when Hogwarts still stood before tormenting invasions would tear it down, an inevitability hovering heavy, weighted by his own small-hand shadows as he awaited silently among the young students until Hagrid's gruff herding into boats. Glancing up proved a mistake as he marked the Thestrals, their dark wings visible as storm clouds against the sky. Draco, an unforeseen voice called, nearly stopping Draco's heart as Harry Potter maneuvered to pull him into his boat. "Hello, Draco. Sorry if I seemed aloof when we last met." "Only 4 to each boat," protested another familiar high-pitched voice, but they were already paddling smoothly across the reflecting waters before Granger managed to voice her regulation to any spirit willing to heed it. Leaving Draco behind didn't seem right, Potter defended earnestly, hinting at a tragedy diverted which Draco knew was anything but preferable. The fiery-headed child in their company perked at Draco's name while a quiet round-faced boy cradled a hideous toad. Weasley couldn't ignore the signal Draco's family name held, much like his telltale red hair betrayed lineage he detested. Draco had wisely avoided Potter on the train, but was now locked onto the shared boat. Every choice thus far more troublesome than the last. "Well, if we all topple in, we'll have our reason," Granger retorted sternly, eyeing Draco with overt doubt. "You two are acquainted?" Weasley queried Potter, jealousy tinging his tone, incredulity that another might have wedged in before him in pursuit of winning Harry's favor. Not that Draco was remotely interested in befriending the legendary Harry Potter. A fruitful pursuit, or lack thereof, he thought, that wouldn't succeed regardless. "Yes, we met buying wands," Potter supplied, graciously underplaying their earlier encounter. "This is Draco." He halted, realizing he hadn't learned Draco's surname. Hesitating, Potter awaited Draco's aids him in moving past the pause and alternately aiding the dire exchange.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this chapter, please hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated with more audiobooks. Happy listening!